Don't wait till your 30s. Don't wait till your 40s. Like the brain that you had in your 20s, baby, is not the same thing in your 30s. Your 20s are one of the most exciting and transformative decades of your life. It is a time for you to explore, take risks, and set a solid foundation for your future. In this video, I will be sharing with you all 5 things that you should absolutely do in order for you to grow, to have fun, and set yourself up for success. But before we get into all that, if this is the first time that you are just seeing my face, my name is Sam. You are welcome. I do videos on life lessons that I upload every midweek on Wednesdays, and I also do weekly vlogs that I upload on Sundays. So if that's something that you are interested in, then please consider subscribing to my channel. Join the family. Let's go. So the first thing that I would say is that you should invest in yourself. While this is a decade where majority of us get our freedom, majority of the mistakes that I believe that I and majority of us when we were in our 20s made was the fact that we thought we had all the time in the world. I mean, before you blink, you're in your 30s. The next thing you know, in my case, I'll be 40 soon. One thing I would wish that I did was to invest in myself while I was in my 20s, as opposed to building myself up in my 30s. So in my 20s, I spent more time exploring and exploring hobbies. Why that was great? It wasn't hobbies that were for me. It was basically what was in trend. I was kind of like going with the flow. I never really did what I wanted to do. Typically, in my culture, in your 20s, that's the time that you're getting married. And I felt like as soon as I graduated from college, my priority wasn't to invest in myself. It was more or less to look for a partner. And I hope that if you're watching this video and you're in your 20s, while that is great, that shouldn't be your only goal. For majority of us who were raised in the 90s and early 2000s, it was kind of like go to school, get married, and start having kids. We went to school, but it wasn't, majority of us, it wasn't to build a career. It was more or less like, it's time to go to school, and when you graduate, you find a husband and yada, yada, yada. So I wish that I focus on my personal growth, learning new skills, and exploring like different hobbies. So if I am suggesting to anybody that is young right now, that is in your 20s, I would say that you should invest in yourself, grow make your personal growth. Do not attach yourself to a man. And this is for young girls, because I feel like young boys have it in their head right from time that they have to make money and not to depend on anybody. But if you are in your 20s and you're kind of like stumbling, not knowing what to do, I would say right now is a great time for you to set a solid foundation for your future. This is a generation of social media and research. Everything is online. It wasn't like my time where we were like literally just stuck with like few career options that we knew of. You're either stuck with being a doctor, a lawyer, or an accountant, or banking and finance, and that's it. We never knew there was bigger options out there. So right now would be a great time if you were in your 20s to invest. Like go in, you don't know what to study, go online. If you're not sure what you want to do with yourself, go online. You don't know what career, what profession to focus on, you're not sure, go online, search careers, and try to align your personality with the job description that you are seeing on Google. Or, Google is your friend. Just type in Google trending careers. What can I be? That's for those of you who know. Like people like me too, I wasn't really sure. And that's the reason why some we just pack degrees. When I see people like pack a lot of degrees, like you go, you get a bachelor's in this, you get your associate, and you get your master's, but they are not aligning. Those are people that I feel like that are searching. They don't really know, or those are people who some certain careers were forced on them, and they just happen to just okay, they went with the flow. So I would suggest that the first thing you want to do in this decade, in your 20s, is to invest in yourself. Find, acquire skills, pursue your higher education. That is a good, like, really. Don't wait and start. If you know that you want to do your master's, if you want to read up to PhD level, don't wait till your 30s. Don't wait till your 40s. Do it right now. Like, I cannot stress that part enough. Like, the brain that you had in your 20s, baby, is not the same thing in your 30s. I just took a certification um, earlier on, late last year. My God, it was one of the most hardest things. I kept on reading over. I'm like, what is wrong with my brain? In the past, I would just, I barely read. I just listened and I take an exam and do it. But this one, I was reading and reading and reading and reading. So if you know you want to read up to master's, bachelor's, master's, and PhD, do it in your 20s. Don't wait, okay? It's not now. Second thing I would suggest is to travel and explore, experience different culture, meet new people, step out of your comfort zone. Traveling in your 20s would broaden your perspectives, and it helps you create memories that will last a lifetime. And that was one of the things. I mean, I traveled locally in the US. It wasn't much of going out of the US. I wish I did that in my 20s, that I traveled out. It was now in my late 30s. I mean, I'm 39 years old, so I'll be turning 40 next month. It's now that in my late 30s. By the time I started thinking about traveling out and exploring cultures, I was already a mom, my kids were little, and it was so much of a hassle picking them up and trying to carry them to XYZ. So I would say something that you should put very much in great consideration into is traveling and exploring in your 20s. Another thing that I would say is for you to build healthy habits, baby. Whatever you do in your 20s, please, in the name of God, I beg you, prioritize your physical and your mental health in your 20s by eating well, exercising regularly, because once you start maintaining a balanced lifestyle, it would spring out. And trust me, your body will thank you in your 30s. One of the things I wish I started doing early was exercising and taking like my vitamins and stuff like that, because now in my 30s, when I did some tests and the doctors were saying something else, I was just like, oh gosh, I wish. The fourth thing that I would say is for you to take risk and experiment. Your 20s is the perfect time for you to explore side hustles, your career path, or even if you want to move to a new city. And that is something that I'm grateful that I did. I would dabble into nursing. But in 2008, everybody that graduated, especially those that were in the financial industry, we didn't have any work. So I went into, just to make money and stuff. I became a CNA. Yeah. So I did dabble into that. That was when I knew, because then I was thinking of going to go get my RN license. So I decided to try nursing, to do bedside nursing. it wasn't for me. So I had to just go back into the financial industry and make it work somehow. But your 20s are the perfect time for you to explore career paths, for you to make a side hustle, which I do regret because I wanted to start YouTube a long time ago. And I mean, I started YouTube 2 years ago, but it's okay. Never say never. But things like that. And I also moved to a new city in my 20s. I was grateful for that. I didn't wait till I was in my 30s. Your 20s is the best time for you to move to different places. Now I wish that I fulfilled my dream of moving to, I wanted to live in Paris, France for at least a year. I can't do that now. I'm a family woman. I don't think that moving my kids or my husband, that wouldn't work. So I wish it's something that I did in my 20s. Last but not least, I would say is for you to cultivate friendships because the streets are hard in your 30s. Finding friendships, situationships in your when you get to your 30s, it's brutal. So I mean, it would be best for you to build your strong support system in your 20s because people in your 30s, when you meet them, it's all about business negotiation. Everybody is just trying to use you. It's a very difficult situation, and I found that now that I'm in my 30s, entering my 40s, the relationship that I built in my 20s and my late teens are the ones that are actually holding strong now. Those network and those connections I made with different people from all walks of life in my 20s, those are the ones that are actually sustaining and enriching my life right now. The ones that I just found newly, that's story for another day. I met somebody that tried to dupe me of $10,000, and I'm just glad that I didn't lose my money because that would be crazy. So now, like, it's insane. But all I can say is that cultivate your relationships now that you are in your 20s because the ones that you meet later on in life, they are only coming there for business transaction. It's basically what they can get from you. They typically don't care if you're a human being or not. If they see like, oh, it's, they can get money from you or they can get some form of status, that's all they do. I met this one girl that every time that I spoke to her, I thought, okay, meeting people from all walks of life. Every time when I spoke to her, can you introduce me to this? Can you introduce me to this? Can you do this? Can you talk to this? I'm like, you just want to find out, hi, how you doing? She's like, why haven't you introduced me to this? Why haven't you? I'm like, good God, everything is, do this for me, do this for me, do this. It was never a like, how are you really doing? Now, it's not everybody that you meet in your 30s that's going to do that, but majority of it. I mean, I have friends too, and we're all going through it. So now we have decided to just stick to ourselves because it is hard out here when you turn 30. So please cultivate the relationships and build them, just so that your support system is strong. You're going to need it in your 30s. And as I'm going into my 40s, I believe that I definitely I'm going to need them. But anyways, that's it for this video. I just wanted to share with you guys what I learned in my 20s, and I hope that it is able to help you to nurture this decade and move forward appropriately so that you can set the next level, the next decade well. And just a bonus point, if you are able to start investing now, don't wait. You see that if you want to retire by 43 years old or 50 years old, your 20s is the time to start investing. Put money, go open a Roth IRA account, invest because those money would help you. Okay? Thank you, my lovelies. If you watched up to this moment, please give me a heart in the comment section. Like my video and share with anyone that you feel would be that this video would help. Okay? And with that, my lovelies, I will see you guys on my next one. Have a lovely day. Okay? Bye.